Hi, my name is Billy Peterson, and I am recording this video to describe and detail my story of TMS and how I came to find that that was my condition. And why I'm recording this is to help others who may have come up against the wall of struggling with pain and really finding no answers, figuring that there's no cure for them, that they don't know if they're ever going to live the life that they planned on. And I want to talk a little bit about my story, a little bit about how I overcame the pain and those who are involved in helping me overcome it. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to a few people. Number one, Steve Ozanich, who I feel like is a friend, but I've never met him. He's been very good to stay in touch with me through this process. I had a conference call with him once early on in my battle with this, and he really made a difference in my life and got me on the path to recovery. But he stayed in touch with me, and that's meant a lot. He's encouraged me to do this video and share my story as well. Dr. David Schechter is another one that I feel like I'm indebted to. He actually diagnosed me with this from a doctor standpoint, from a medical standpoint. It was much easier for me to accept and move forward in my recovery. And of course, Dr. Sarno, who kind of was the initiation for me to learn about TMS and that there is a different way, or actually the only way to heal once you understand this. But I didn't know or didn't believe anything regarding mind or regarding emotion or regarding your feelings before I read his book. So I want to thank those three people for giving me my life back. TMS, my experience with it, the suffering, the long-term suffering that goes along with TMS, and really the darkness that one feels when you just don't know. You just feel like you've lost complete control of yourself, your life. You're just in pain, constant pain. Sometimes it'll go away for minutes or a few hours if you're lucky, maybe a day or two if you're super lucky, but it comes back. And so the journey's been very long for me. Just to tell you, I've been battling this, I've battled this for 5 years and not knowing where to go. And I was looking in all the wrong directions at first. The first 3.5 years I spent getting worse. And I go to every doctor, every specialist that you could even possibly imagine. Anything I saw on TV, anything I saw in the newspaper or magazine, again, curing all back pain and special creams and special devices for sitting, back support braces, chiropractors. I went to at least 4 different chiropractors who I thought could cure me because I believed in what they said. I went to a number of different places, including specialists, including back pain specialists, surgeons. Had 4 or 5 MRIs done. Went to neurologists. Finally, after maybe 2+ years of being in this kind of pain without any real relief, I self-diagnosed a disease that I thought I had called ankylosing spondylitis. And I made an appointment with a rheumatologist and went in to see this young rheumatologist who listened to my symptoms, took a blood test. By the way, I'd taken dozens of blood tests leading up to this without any conclusion, any answer, in addition to hormonal specialists and I can't even go into it. There's too many things. I spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to figure this out. Anyway, back to the rheumatologist telling me that after this blood test that I had this certain protein in my body or some genetic code that said I may have this disease and may be positive for this disease, ankylosing spondylitis. So without any more proof than that I may have it, diagnosed me with this disease and started me on these extremely high potent biological drugs. Very, very expensive if you don't have the insurance to cover them, but it's a once a week injection. So I started taking Enbrel once a week, a shot in my leg or my arm. And at first I was believing that the doctor had discovered or had essentially figured out what was wrong with me. So I started to feel better, to be honest with you. I started to feel like I was going to be okay. So the pain at night kind of went away. After maybe 2 months, I started to feel it coming back. And I started to feel like I didn't know, because I read more and more about this disease, and I read more about the cause and the concerns, and I actually joined this group on Facebook. There's a group on Facebook for everything, and right, I'll tell you right now, if you're searching on Facebook and you're looking for groups to belong to for pain, stop it, because all you're doing is feeding the mind's desire to keep you distracted from everything, and you're just burying yourself in this, and you're never going to find the answer there. You're never going to get well. You just find that you're trapped, and you feel like you'll do anything. You'll do anything that someone says to get out of the pain. Again, I started to think that I had this disease that was just going to take over my body, and I was never going to be the same person again. I hated who I was. I hated everything about my life. I didn't know what was happening. I would literally be in my office here so wound up in the pain that the pain would be on my mind every 10 seconds. I wouldn't even be able to focus on my work. I thought of ending my life a few times because I didn't see any way out of it. I didn't see any possible solution. No one can help me. Every place I went, every possible solution that I'd hoped for was a failure. But my wife started to do some research herself. Instead of looking at these stupid things I was getting into, she got into a mind-body solution. And so she ordered 2 books for me. I didn't have any idea what they were, but again, going back to what I said, I'd try anything. One of the books she ordered for me was from Dr. John Sarno. And it's this book right here, Mind-Body Prescription. This changed everything for me. And it started me on a path through where I am now, which is healed. But still, you got to think about it. I was diagnosed by a medical doctor with ankylosing spondylitis. So for me, that was a roadblock. I grew up, not understanding emotions or not even wanting to deal with emotions. That seemed a weakness to me in the way I grew up and all my family before me. You work hard, you get the job done, and what else is there? I moved on, and I found this book. And this book, written by Steve Ozanich, made a huge difference in my life because it continued to answer the questions that I had. And it was just such a well-written book that it describes so many different conditions that people have that they don't understand. Doctors don't understand. Pills are created. The pharmacy companies are making millions or billions. But really, it's so simple to come back to this, and what's really going on in our lives is the mind and how it relates or how it interacts with your body. So this is a book that I've recommended to dozens of people because it covers almost everything. It goes way more into detail, but in a way that you can understand. And I even had a conference call, like I said, with Steve, and he just seems like a genuine, caring person and truly cared about me and my recovery. I thought it would just be, a one and done call, and I appreciated his time, but amazingly, he stayed in touch with me. He's continued to talk to me and ask me how I'm doing and send messages and of encouragement. And so, again, that's why I'm recording this video, is people like him that truly care and want to help those who have struggled. People who have struggled with this understand the darkness, understand that others need help. With Steve, I started to see myself getting better. So maybe I was up to 50% better. But I needed something else. So I went and saw Dr. Schechter. I made an appointment, and I read his book, Think Away Your Pain. And he diagnosed me with TMS. And he's the first doctor to actually ask me about my life and the emotional component to it. No doctor had done that yet. All these specialists and back surgeons and rheumatologists, chiropractors, acupuncturists, massage technicians, physical therapists, hormonal specialists, allergy specialists, never asked me a single time about what I was going through. Well, let me tell you, in 2009, I lost my brother. My brother committed suicide. My wife stepped out and was cheating on me, and we went through a divorce, and that was the most traumatic thing I could ever experience, I think, in my life, as far as what was happening and how I was coping with that. I wasn't coping with that. So I'm opening up my own business, my own firm. I find out my wife's having an affair. I get my business open. 6 days later, my brother commits suicide. And now I'm just the type of person who just puts all that stuff, push it down. You don't cry. You don't think about stuff like that. You overcome adversity. That's what I'd spent my whole life. But at no time did I ever have a doctor ask me about stress or about did anything happen in your life. And so I just accepted the fact that at this point in my life, I'm dealing with acid reflux, and so I'll just have to take pills the rest of my life. Well, I'm going to tell you, I haven't taken an acid reflux pill in a year and a half. It's unbelievable, really, to me. It's 20 years of taking that stuff, and now I'm completely free of the symptoms. So I want to go back to talk a little bit more about the final stages, beginning to heal. You start to feel better. You start to understand that things are getting better, and you start accepting it a little bit more. That doesn't mean that doubt doesn't continue to play a factor, because new symptoms come in. And I started to get pain in my eye. My right eye started to hurt. And again, I went to 3 different ophthalmologists and different optometrists, another neurosurgeon to check my brain. I had an MRI on my brain. It just grab onto something when you have that kind of pain, and you think that you're dying. You think that you have something serious, but nothing was ever diagnosed. There was nothing positive anywhere on any test. I didn't understand it. The pain would just come on. It was just excruciating pain in my eye, like my eye was going dead. No type of pain in my life have I ever had like that. So I didn't know how to handle it, and it made me nervous, and I feared it all the time. So I didn't know how to make it go away. So I, again, take a big step backward, and I kept talking about the pain. I didn't know, again, what was happening. But then I started to understand, after talking to enough people and getting some advice from Steve Ozanich, is stop talking about the pain, he said, and start talking about your feelings, or what's going on in your life, or what things that you're concerned about. And you know what? I started to do that, and I started to realize that I was worried about certain clients. I was worried about their feelings toward me. I was worried about the markets. I was worried about, my kids, or, by nature, I'm the type of person that worries about others and how others see me, or how others perceive me. And I want everyone to like me. And I want to do things for other people, but I'm also pushing myself to do better, more, be recognized, achieve, never be average or normal. And I just push myself so hard that I never stop and tell myself, good job. Sometimes to accept it, you have to read these books multiple times. You really have to immerse yourself in those. Get your subconscious to stop controlling you. Okay, read them enough that it just somehow triggers. When you're ready to heal, you will. You have to stay in it, stay with it, don't stop. I was a leading jockey in the country in 1995, and being active, that's what I like to do. I've run a ton of marathons. I was running way before I got these symptoms. But I think up to now, I've probably ran 65 marathons. I've ran ultra marathons, several 50-milers. I ran a 100-mile endurance race, and I do a lot of CrossFit. I like to be active. I coach softball and baseball. I love to be involved and be active and outdoors. I love to hunt and fish. But I found when I was doing those types of things that I enjoyed, my pain was gone for a while. And then afterward, when I'd start dealing with my mind again, and it would overtake me, the pain would come back. And I got to the point where I was actually scared to be alone with myself or think. I was scared of my thoughts. I was scared that I didn't know how to get away from the pain because I was doing it to myself, but I didn't know how to stop. And I started to realize it was just dealing with what was going on inside me. And I needed to start having a different outlook on life. I needed to start having a more happy attitude about who I was and about my life in general, and live in the moment. And that was something I had no idea how to do. I was always 20 steps ahead, thinking about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to plan on, how I'm going to get it better, how I'm going to excel, the next milestone, the next goal. I was way too far ahead of myself. And I think that's a huge part of TMS, realizing that there's a higher power out there. Already has this stuff, already has a plan. You just need to fall back and let things go and just breathe and just relax. Find things that you can do that relax you. The more of those you can do, the more your symptoms are going to go away. It's not going to be an instant thing, but find things you enjoy. And I also learned you have to be kind to yourself. And then finally is to help others. And you're going to find people with all sorts of conditions that are TMS or TMS equivalents that they don't understand this stuff yet. And they won't accept it either. In many cases, they will deny, they will tell you that theirs is different, that they have doctors' proof, that they have MRI images that prove that they're different. And really, when you strip it all back, they're no different. They have the same conditions, they just have chosen not to accept them yet. But again, I want to say thank you to the people who've helped me, and I hope that you found this video to be helpful to you. I know how hard it is, and it's not easy, and it's never going to just instantly go away in a blink. But I'll even have conditions or symptoms come on now, but I'm not afraid of them, and they'll go away. And I control it now. I understand that it's my body just may be telling me something, that I'm anxious about something, and I'm stressed, or I'm worried about somebody, a feeling that I get that I don't even recognize sometimes in my mind. I don't recognize it. I'll just then start feeling pain or a symptom. And then I'll stop and think, okay, what is it that I'm stressed about? What is it that I was just thinking about? What is it that I need to deal with? And as long I think that through, and I tell myself, you know what, you're okay, Billy. You're going to be just fine, and you're making a big deal out of nothing. And so I don't need that pain. Everything's okay. I turn my thoughts to something that I appreciate, something that I value, something that gives me a good outlook on life, and the pain goes away. I hope, again, that you find your answer, and I know you will if you stay with it. Take care, and God bless.